All right. Oh, that's cute.
It's my
Yeah,
baby.
so Perla, tell us a little bit. How did you start this journey into breathing? When did you start breathing?
That's a funny question. Um, well, first, thank you so much for having me again. Now in English. I was just
Yes.
talking about this yesterday because I was like, I'm so nervous. We've been doing a few lives, right? And I've done a few lives with other people, talk about breathing and stuff, but always in Portuguese. This is the very first one that I'm doing in English. So thank you for having me. Thank you all of you guys that are here um, to watch this live. And okay, let's just start with the beginning. Um,
Okay.
I'm a personal trainer. I started working in the field a few years ago back in Brazil, and always have that interest in how things work, like how the other things play with it. You know, when we talk about exercise with somebody, there's so much that is included to that. There's so much that is related to that person when um, to the individual when it comes to exercise. There's a lot of things that will contribute to their performance or not, to the way they're feeling or the way they move or the way they perceive or the way they respond. So there is a correlation with a lot of different things. And one of those things is the way we breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So I always kind of have that interest, but I had no idea where to start or, what to look for. And I moved to California, started working here, and slowly listening, hearing things about yoga and practicing a little bit of a yoga in different studios. I kind of started opening my my ears for that, right? I was like, there's something on, hi Aubrey, there's something on breathing that
Okay.
has it just clicked for me, like there's a relationship here with that. And I always liked the part of the yoga that teaches you how to how to center yourself, how to ground yourself, how to get really in tune with that and control the way you respond to things. And that was my first interest in on breathing. I was like, wow, you can really use breathing for that. And the second thing is because I always had, you always see people in the gym with some sort of pain. You know, I've always been around people with pain. I myself had pain. Hi, Tucci, had pain, lower back pain for a while, and found like, I don't know, 15 years ago that I had a herniated disc. I would always be searching something about that too. I'd be like, I wonder if this works, if that works, kind of like testing out
Right.
things and working with people with that. So this was also is interesting for me. And I started seeing a relationship of that with our posture, the way we breathe, with the posture that we have. So the more you read about breathing, and I can tell you guys at the end some books that you can kind of look for to read and get more information about that, because there's so much out there right now
Right.
about breathing that you can learn how to apply this to your daily life. So I just started like putting those pieces together, right? And it's like, oh, breathing is related to that too. Huh, that's very interesting. And then you start finding out how it can play a big role on your sleep. It can
Right.
play a big role on your focus and concentration during the day.
I
You
think
know,
one of the things that Perla shared that really spoke to me was when she said, like, as a personal trainer, you spend like 1 hour, sometimes like 1 hour a day, or sometimes like more than 1 hour a week with someone. And it's really like a hard task. And the professionals who work with mobility training or other, or if you work out, I know Yasky, for instance, who is here, she always work out. You know that that time that you spend at the gym is not sufficient only for you to have an overall health, and as a personal trainer who understand that, and that was one of the main points for Perla to look for other holistic approach to her training, was to understand that that 1 hour wasn't enough to cover everything that that individual need, right? So then she went to that for yoga, like you're saying, like understanding more about the breathing. So Perla, of course, everybody who is here breathes and understand that it's important, but there are some key points that I think it's really unfortunate that we don't even learn about those things in school. So people don't understand the mechanic of breathing. Can you explain a little bit more for us, like how does that really play? Because everybody breathes, but not necessarily knows how to do it properly.
Okay. To start with that, I would love to go back when we we started to unlearn how to breathe, right? Because as kids, we come already with that. We know how to function, how the mechanic works, and throughout the years, as life goes and we add new things in our daily life, we start unlearning that pattern. So it's really like it's not that we are learning how to breathe, it's that we are relearning. We're going back home, back to where you used to be. So we as a kid had that perfect pattern on breathing, and maybe you started having some allergies. That's going to start changing the way you breathe. Then
Right.
your nose get clogged, and you start not being able to breathe well through your nose, and then you transfer to open your mouth and breathe through your mouth. And nobody noticed that, or nobody thinks this is an important thing to take a look. And
Because it's an alternative, right? Like, well, I
yeah,
can breathe from my mouth, so
yeah, I
why
get a
not?
lot of people that like, oh, I just can't breathe through my nose. It's like it's what its functions is for. That's why you have a nose there. It's not just for fashion. It has a function, but a lot of us start believing that, oh, I can't breathe through my nose, so I will change that pattern. I'll breathe through my mouth. Or you as a kid, you start playing a sport or something and get injured, and that starts changing your posture or the way you move around, and you start kind of gardening your body
Yeah.
from, afraid just to get hurt. And then that changes, start changing the pattern you're breathing too. You go to school and you start hanging, you know, backpacks on your shoulders and walking around with that and seating a lot more. And that's going to change the pattern that you're breathing too, because it changes your posture and how you move throughout the day or you not move throughout the day. And then we become adults, right? Or teenagers, where we are just afraid of like showing the belly, and guys want to puff their chest out, and girls too. You kind of want to walk like a supermodel type of thing,
Right. Wear high heels or even in your phone often.
even our phone. So a lot of that comes from just the way we evolve. We change our posture. We start like sucking in the belly because we don't want people to see or judge us for like, oh, my waist, or you want to, kind of look sexy. We have this vision of what sexy should be, and stuff like that. So those things are going to start changing the way your posture is, or just the way your breathing pattern is itself. Um, and as you said, like the
Because the
phone is
posture and
another,
breathing are really associated, right?
yeah, yeah. And like you said, the phone too, like us always in our computer, us just spending a lot more time seating right now, because everything in life is just calls you to be seating pretty much,
Right.
especially in quarantine. A lot of people are spending more time seating. So those things are starting to change the breathing pattern. So that's the why, and that's why we start to unlearn that. Um, and then as you asked me, what's the breathing pattern, how we can train that. So
Right.
ideally, is what we call the belly breathing, right? If you take a deep breath and you're watching yourself in the mirror, you can perceive how that breathing is going. If you take a deep breath and you raise your shoulders as you inhale, and your shoulders come down as you exhale, that means you're having a vertical breathing. So you have this pattern of breathing vertically, up
Mhm.
and down. Um, there's other patterns too, but basically those two, you can kind of observe those two patterns. If you focus and maybe putting your hands in your belly, and you focus on expanding that area as you take an inhale, and your shoulders are more calm down here, you have a little movement in your shoulders too, but mostly of that movement will come from the belly, and it's more horizontal, meaning you're not doing this. You're basically doing what I'm going to do now. You're not going to see my shoulders moving much right here.
And that's one of the things that really I had no idea. And when like whenever you're stressed out and somebody tells you calm down, breathe. And you do like, take a deep breath, and everybody goes like, and then Perla told me like, hey, not really like that, because your posture will affect. So when you're breathing this way, guys, we're breathing with our shoulders. And guess what? Our shoulders is not responsible for making us breathing at all. So this is one of the key things that, like, when I've learned, like, wow, so when breathing, like when taking a deep breath, there are other alternatives, or the right pattern to follow to give you the more effective, you know, like performance, right? Like with your diaphragm. But anyway, like I'll let you continue. Just like it was something that I'm pretty sure that everybody here had experienced that, you know, like you, okay, let me take a deep breath. And then I was like, oh, okay. Note that self-awareness topic here.
Yeah, I think you touched in a very interesting, a very important thing. It's the awareness, right? Um, Often we listen to guidelines and we read things, and when really you move that to into putting in practice something, that all starts with the awareness, just observing that pattern. I say this all the time to people I work with. You can't change something that you are not aware of, and being aware of something will take time and energy. And we just live in a society that we're not simulated to be aware of things much. We are just simulated to kind of like
Yeah.
follow something all the time. And being aware takes some energy in the beginning, because it's something that we're most of us, we are not, we don't train very much of just observing and being aware of something, especially the breathing, because it's something just you do 24/7.
Yeah.
Who wants to just stop and pay attention and, oh, how am I breathing here? You
One
know?
of the things that really changed for me, and when working, you know, like in my computer, I knew for a fact that like, I always associate breathing with a horizontal movement, right? Like it comes from here in my lungs, and then it goes all the way up, and then I breathe through my nose or from my mouth. So
Mhm.
this was really clear to me. But after talking to you and learning that we also have a vertical movement that is also responsible for our breathing, especially when I'm sitting, Perla. I didn't even share with her this privately, but especially when I'm sitting, I've noticed like how contract my belly is. And I have like, wow, I don't think I'm breathing vertically here. So I try to like really visualize me breathing vertically and horizontally. But I know that you have like, yes, visualization might help, but there is also like other simple things that you can do. So please like continue with the mechanics of the breathing, so we can.
I like to keep things simple. In the beginning, when I started learning about the breathing, I wanted to give people all the information, like you need to know this, you need to know that, and that, and that, and that.
Yes.
And at the end, if you don't have something simple to start with, you're not going to be making a lot of changes, right? Because we need to go single point. I'm going to work on this point here, and then through this, from here, from here, we go and we focus on the next thing. So a very basic thing that everybody can be doing is to just start noticing the way you breathe throughout the day. Whenever you can think about it, you can either post it on close to your computer if you're working on the computer all the time. You can put a note there and say, just pay attention on your breathing, and then
Right.
you just silently for a minute just observe how you're breathing. Are you breathing at all? Because a lot of us, and I find that really interesting. I caught myself once trying to do something on my computer that was really hard for me. It was like some tech stuff that I'm not the best person with, and I was trying to figure this out, this program in the computer, and I was like so stressed out that I caught myself, my shoulders up here, and I was holding my breath. I was holding my breath through that time, and
Oh, so
it
you're
just
dealing with
looks
this
so
stressful situation and
so
holding your breath.
strange. Uh-huh. Because we can do that a lot of times when we're stressed out, and even if you're trying to like concentrate on something and you're highly stressed, you could be holding your breath too. So you could be just like, and trying to work on something.
I love
And that is going to affect just the way your brain is functioning to that kind of work that you're doing. It will affect your concentration. It will affect the way just your brain is able to function because
because
you're
believe
not
it or not,
breathing.
we're giving less oxygen to our brain, right? It
Yeah.
makes total sense.
And I was like, that's so crazy because I didn't realize if I didn't start observing this, I'd
Yeah.
probably live my whole life. Whenever I'm on a computer and I'm working on something super stressed out, I'd be like holding my breath for the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? So, see, Bruna, it is so interesting. It's so interesting. When I'm afraid to hold my breath and ultimately get dizzy, that's crazy. There is a tendency that we have, and it starts with observing. Observe that. So once you know that you do this, then now you can make a change, right? Because you won't be able to change something that you don't know that's it's there. So the first thing is the awareness, is being present and observing that kind of pattern for you. And the second thing that I would say that's the most simple way for you to start training your breathing is to lay down, bend your knees, put your foot on the floor, put your hands in your belly close to your rib cage, and focus on moving that out as you inhale, in as you exhale, out as you inhale, in as you exhale. So the reason why is because, like you're talking about the diaphragm. Diaphragm is a muscle. Let me see if I have it here. Yes, I
I
do.
know Aline is saying here, when I'm afraid, I always hold my breath and ultimately I get dizzy. That's crazy, or is scared or something. Like whenever she feels scared or afraid, she
Yeah,
noticed
there's
that.
a there is a common response from our nervous system to just um, have reactions like that. I want to learn breathing patterns to sleep better because I suffer from insomnia. Okay, so that's what we're gonna be
Just hold it
practicing.
tight there. Yes, Steve. We'll talk
Hang,
about it.
hang in here. Um,
Yeah.
the reason why, like we're talking about the diaphragm, is that it's a muscle that sits right below or near to your rib cage. So the rib cage is this bone that we have here below the chest, right?
We
And
can't see. Do you want me to remove the comments for now?
yeah,
I'm
you
gonna turn
can.
it off the comments, guys, so you can see.
So the rib cage is right here, right? We have the belly, and then we have the ribs. So your
Okay.
rib cage, you can even touch around this area, kind of give it, a massage here, so you have a understanding of this area. You touch it around, you move, you do a little massage. So this area is where your diaphragm is sitting. So the muscle is like this, and as you inhale, it's going to expand like that, and as you exhale, it's going to move in like this. So it moves out as you inhale,
It
it moves
opens and
in
closes.
as you exhale. So this is a muscle that you want to make sure you're moving. Besides, instead of this one here, that is the muscle around the belly. That's why we call belly breathing, because that's the muscle you're looking for to be moving when you breathe. And if
And
you want
really
to
expanding that, right? Like I
really
noticed that
expand it,
I don't like get like that belly that I think kids have, you know, like when you see a kid, they have like that full belly. And it's like, whoa. And then like we grow up, like you said, and we don't really have that much of the air completely filling our belly. So that's really interesting. I'm doing it right now, but continue, please.
and that's related to also just like tensioning this area all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is good for you to be able to use your ab muscles to be able to contract them, but it's also interesting and useful for you to be able to relax them. See,
Mm-hmm.
because your diaphragm will be able to expand more if you can relax, and then will continue that movement. It will even help you to work more the muscles of your abs if you're able to expand and contract, not just contraction or
Okay.
asymmetric holding the whole time. You want to be able to be moving. You want to be able to have that flow.
Okay.
So A very basic thing to do for you to learn to breathe, relearn to breathe, and get back to the pattern that we're all supposed to be using is to lay down, bend your knees, lay down flat on the floor, because laying down, it's easier for you to begin with because you don't use the muscles that hold your posture up here. So
Oh,
you just lay flat on the floor and you're totally supported. Your back is supported there, and then you can focus on just expanding your belly, breathing in and breathing out. You can practice this before you go to sleep. I'm sure you're gonna have a better sleep. Practicing this over and over every time when you go to bed, laying down there, bend your knees, and start practicing. Put your hands around the rib cage, focus on having that movement. It's a 360 movement. It's not just up and down the belly, it's 360. So you want to feel the expansion going around, sides, front, back. In the lower back too, you're going to feel a little expansion of the lower back and the sides, in and out, in and out. Now it can feel a little counterintuitive in the beginning. Can feel a
yeah.
little odd, be like, that doesn't feel natural for me. It's normal because you're just practicing this at a first time, right? Or a second time. It will take a few tries for you to be able to be like, okay, feels more natural now. Some people get it right away, but some people will feel that it's a little strange, and it's okay. You just keep practicing that.
Very important to notice here, because we always like lay flat to go to sleep, but bend your knees a little bit before to give you that support. I really like that.
Yeah, it will make it more comfortable for your lower back. You will feel you will feel really um stable, if
Yeah,
that's if we could use this word. It
yeah.
is just feel safer for you to practice that. And then later on, there's other positions that you can practice the breathing, but this is the most basic one. It works for pretty much everybody. Everyone can do it. Or if you're sitting on your desk and you want to practice a few of them, and you're in a chair, right, not sitting on the desk, you can you can just move and get your back in the chair and just practice that breathing too. What about holding the breath for some seconds after inhale then exhale? Is it good? Yeah, there's a lot of different type of when you do like a breath work session, you're gonna be guided through sometimes breath holds or exhaling a little bit longer, you know, holding the breath. It is a good thing to do. There's some practices, and there's reasons why you're gonna be holding the breath. You're gonna be exhaling for a certain period of time, or you're gonna be inhaling for a certain period of time. It is a good thing. But what I would say for somebody that's just practicing this and relearning it, I wouldn't focus so much on holding my breath. I would just focus on the flow of the breathing. Inhale for as long as comfortable for you. Exhale for a little bit longer. If especially if you're trying to relax, I would say count your breath. Count your breath as you inhale and see how long it takes you to inhale. Are you like a fast inhaler that go, are you
I did this
fully,
test with my husband. We set a timer and we did how many breaths we have in 1 minute to
how many
see
was it?
naturally how many, like I think he was 6 and I was 5, or the contrary, something like that.
That is a good thing. It is a good thing to have around 6 or 5 breaths in a minute. That
Okay,
means
so
you're,
maybe I said this wrong, because maybe I knew that was the goal, because I know that we weren't where you said we should be. So
uh-huh.
then it might have been the double then, because I don't. Now I'm saying like, okay, I don't think we were quite there yet.
That's a good way to measure too. That is a good practice for you to have. Like set a timer for a minute and see how many breaths are you doing in that minute.
Normally,
Because,
right? Like
yeah.
without.
Because a lot of us, we tend to breathe too shallow and too quick. Shallow and quick breaths. We don't take a full inhale. We don't take a full exhale. We're just like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that is really, it's totally, you can test it out, that, and I've done this with a lot of different people, and it really changes your state of mind at that moment. If you start having a more shallow breath and breathing faster, you are going to feel in one way. If you start to slowing down your breath, especially the exhales, maybe you inhale in 3 seconds and you exhale in 6 seconds. That exhale slower will help you to just calm down. A lot of people feel like, oh, I just feel really relaxed right now, is because of that pattern on your breathing. You are exhaling a little bit slower than you are inhale. That's a good practice too for you to take.
Just to
But
count.
I would say,
just to count, then, like
just to count, and then you put a timer and see in 1 minute how many times are you breathing. If you're breathing 10 times, you know, if you're doing 10 cycles or 12 cycles, you might be breathing a little too fast.
That's probably where we were.
That's
probably where we were, and I say like 5 or 6.
We could do a little test with that. Do you want to set up a timer?
Sure.
To see how many times you guys want to do this?
We will have around, like, we have around 20 minutes to cover all the exercises and all the beautiful things that you have to share. Let me see here. Let me go on Google to set a timer. And then for everybody who is tuning in right now, or if anybody sees that somebody just joined and we'll be silent, just breathing, and people be like, what the heck is people are doing here? Just so we know. And it's nice to do this right now with a lot of people also, because we get to really do it. Sometimes they're like, oh yeah, watch the live, the
I'll do it
later.
I have a timer here.
Okay, me too. Shall we start?
Yes.
Just breathe, guys, normal.
Breathe normal and just count how many breaths are you doing in a minute. Ready? Let's go. That was a minute.
Oh my God, I counted 14. How many have you guys counted? Like, just
how
send
mid
it
did you
over
guys
here.
count?
Let's see who is the winner. In this case, it's going to be the opposite, because the less you did, better for you. Oh my God, Bruna said. So I did 14.
Okay.
Who else? Send it over, guys. Did you guys did the exercise? You're just like, okay, they're doing this. I gotta go really quick to the restroom or something. You like the lights? 19.
19.
I got 9.
9.
Right on. Aline, Yesti, whoever, like, try it again, like, send it so we can see. But 7.
That's awesome.
Good
so many
job,
different
Cynthia.
answers. Justin, 10. 12.
12.
Awesome.
Claudio, yay.
What?
19.
Bruna. 9.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So, like, when going to sleep, you have like a technique for that, right? Like, to count. It almost put me to sleep. It's my meditative practice now.
Yeah.
Really.
See, I believe if you are somebody who scored a high number there, right? Like Bruna said 19, some people said 12, some people, Aline said 19 too. Sometimes I want you to observe if this is related to maybe your state of mind. If you feel like more anxious during your day, that could be an answer. Maybe if you start paying attention to your rhythm of breathing and you start working on slowing down, Every day, make it a point to yourself to put a timer for a minute and see how many breaths you're doing in that minute. And I want you to work on taking full breaths and exhaling fully. Inhale fully, exhale fully. And your goal is going to be lowering that number, especially for people who reach 19, 19, 14. If this resonates with you, if this connects with like, okay, maybe it makes sense. Maybe I feel a little anxious throughout my day. And that could be a relation there. That could be one of the reasons why you're feeling anxious, because you are probably having this shallow breathing, over breathing,
Yeah.
breathing many times in that minute and not fully breathing. So that's my suggestion for you to train that. Make it a point for you to do this once a day. Put a timer for a minute and count how many breaths you do. And my suggestion for you to, you can practice that before you go to sleep, or you can practice this on that 1 minute. Inhale for 3, start with 3 seconds. If this is your first time trying this, inhale for 3 seconds, concentrating, putting the intention on expanding the belly. Inhale for 3 seconds, exhale for 6. Inhale for 3, exhale for 6. Inhale for 3, exhale for 6. Count how many of that you're going to do in a minute. I bet you're going to do way less, even if you count 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6, super quick. Even if you're a fast counter, you will find that you are doing less breaths in a minute, and that will help. Start noticing, start observing if that will help you to feel more connected, more grounded, less anxious. And this works for everything. Whenever you want to feel more grounded, whenever you want to feel more present, more concentrated, more calm to sleep, for example, you can practice that breathing pattern and it will work for you. I promise.
Great.
Okay?
Great. Awesome. Awesome. So like when coming to, you said like to sleep, but how about, I know that a lot of my friends have asked this when working out, because here's the tough thing. I know that that's not your case, but other professionals, they tell you to observe a lot of things when working out, right? Like, oh, notice your posture and your breathing and like the amount of weight that you're carrying, everything, like notice your pain. And it's like, oh my God, I have to concentrate in a lot of things right now. Like if I'm running a marathon, if I'm training every day, like how am I able to prioritize the things that I have to pay attention to when it comes to breathing, for instance? Any suggestions on that?
I think we kind of talked about this last time we did a live, right? And I think this is a very, very good thing for a point for us to be talking about, because yes, it happens to a lot of us when we first learn something and we want to give that person in front of us all the information. We want to share with them, and we're so excited, and so we want to say everything in that session. Like, oh, pay attention to this, and also look at that. I've done this many times, and as you start practicing more and more, you start seeing that less is always more. If you can give to somebody one point, one thing to focus on, one thing you want them to get out with, this is it. Because none of us work like that. We're not going to be able to just learn 10 things in one session. You're going to get overwhelmed, and you're not going to be able to put that into practice. So the key is to really keep it simple and give that person one thing at a time. I'll give you this, then you go home, you practice. Give you that, you go home and you practice. This is why in this first interaction we're having in English now, it is important for people that haven't done this before, do this in the most comfortable, simple position, which is, for most of us, laying down, bend the knees, and focus on one area, expanding the belly. After you got that down, oh, okay, I have a good expansion here in my belly. Now I'm going to start working on slowing my breath. 3 seconds inhale, 6 seconds exhale. as far as exercise goes, what I could say for most of us, what I see at the gym, what I've done myself, and I see a lot. Bruna is here. He can tell you about it because I've done this practice with them. She trains with me. Um, and a lot of us start breathing through our mouth when we're exercising. Inhale, exhale, the whole session, even when you don't need to, you are going to be open your mouth because we think this is a bigger area. I'm going to get more oxygen from that. Really, you get a lot more oxygen because it is a bigger area, but it's not as efficient as if you breathe through your nose. It's not as efficient for your body. So there's one thing to keep in mind. But what I can say is, if you are somebody who breathes through your mouth most of the day, most likely exercising is not the time that we're going to change that. I'm not going to get somebody that breathes through their mouth all day and during a session they're exercising, they're struggling, they're thinking about 10 different things, and I also throw in there, oh, by the way, also,
Breathe through
breathe
your
through your
nose.
nose.
Yeah.
You can do it as a fun try. I've done this with my girls. We did it for fun so they could experience that. But the idea is for you to work with that person first, making them observe that, making them start thinking throughout the day, how are they breathing?
Yeah.
And then after that, can I breathe through my nose? Do I really feel like I can breathe through my nose? If I can't, there's a way that I need to start working on using my nose mostly when I'm not stressed out, on my relaxed stage. I'm gonna lay down and breathe through my nose intentionally as much as I can. Throughout my day, whatever I can think about, I'm gonna be breathing through my nose. And then naturally, you're going to be transferring this to your workouts more and more. And of course, when you have that practice enough, then you really set a day and be like, okay, today my intention on my workout is going to go through my workout, breathing through my nose. You know what I'm saying? But you want to practice this before in simpler tasks.
Right.
Washing the dishes. I'm going to concentrate while I wash the dishes. I'm going to concentrate, breathe through my nose. Laying down before I go to sleep, I'm going to concentrate on just breathe through my nose. So if you are making notes in this, during this live right now, a simple way for you to start. I know it's a lot of information at first. I know it's like, oh, now she's talking about nose breathing. Yeah, it's belly is time, and now it's nose too. Make a note on your little notebook to be 1 week just working on the belly expansion. So this week I'm just gonna work on expanding my belly, lay down, work on that expansion. Next week I'm gonna combine the belly breathing with the time. I'm gonna breathe in through 3 seconds, exhale 6 seconds, and then now this is comfortable for me. I'm gonna go 4 seconds, 8 seconds. For 1 week, you try just that. And then in the next week, you start playing with that. How am I feeling when I breathe more through my mouth? You can do a full workout. Plug your nose and breathe just through your mouth and see how you feel.
One of the things when you talked about like the mouth and the nose, it was really that helped me a lot. Oh.
Yeah, Bruno is talking about the little experiment what we did in the session.
Oh, okay.
She did the whole workout, breathing only through her nose.
Oh, wow. I left my WhatsApp open when I went to contact you. I'm sorry, guys. But when you said, there was one thing that you said also that really resonated with me when it comes to like noticing that your nose is made for you to breathe and not your mouth. It was so simple, but I have never realized that, yes, we have like the little hairs in our nose. They're there for protection. They were there to filter everything. And our mouth doesn't have any of that, right? So it's like even like the temperature, when you talked about that, like the temperature of the air that goes in your body from your mouth and from your nose, it's complete. And I didn't realize also that if you sleep from with your mouth open, it's like 8 hours of the day, at least if you're having 8 hours of sleep, that you are constantly doing that. So it's very important that when you are awake, when you are aware of your full, you know, like capabilities, please notice how you're breathing, like Perla is saying, because when you are sleeping, you are in your subconscious. Like you can't really like, you know, change
Change
that.
that.
So changing the waking life first,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that gives you a little bit more of the. But so Perla, from what I understand here, today you're gonna just give us this one exercise
Yes.
because you think that if people can work in one thing, that will be the one. And it's, I love that you said that because it makes perfect sense. If you can, and I talk about this all the time, if you guys follow me here on Become Odara, I even shared this with other people, like this concept of doing one thing every day that makes you happy. One thing that it's, if you have like a day that is not like 100%, at least that one thing you did, so you be happy with yourself. And Bella could give you here like 100 exercises because she is an expert on it and she has all these techniques. But I think there is like a very key point here that she's making. If you try this one, you see that your life will be better. Then it's just like open Pandora box. You see how much more that is
In
into
there.
breathing if you just start practicing it. So if you have any questions or anything that you'd like to ask in those very few minutes that we have, please send them our way. And Perla, if you have any other things that you want people to be
Yes.
aware.
I want to know, is there anybody here that has a hard time breathing through their nose? Anybody do that is always breathing through their mouth and believe that they cannot breathe through their nose? If there is somebody here, let me know because I can give you guys some exercise that will help you with that right now.
Like you say, somebody who either like suffers from some type of breathing problem, that they have like nostrils or they get always
Clogged
stuck.
nostrils, you know, that they feel like, oh, my nose is always just super clogged and I can't breathe through my nose. So that's why I open my mouth to breathe.
Yeah.
If there is
It
anybody
happens a lot
here.
of the times at night. I know because that's what happens with my husband. Around 6 p.m., I've already noticed. Around 6, he starts, and he loves those sprays, the nostril sprays. So he already started with them. And I'm like, oh my God, please let's do the exercise that Perla tell us.
Yeah,
But,
those things, it's a very simple thing. And I learned that with Patrick McCune. He's had thought in a few places that I've been, few events that I've been with XPT, and he is awesome. He was teaching this technique of like just you unplugging your nose and being able to breathe again through your nose.
yeah,
So
I think
if
Aline was the one who asked about that, but I don't know
yeah,
if you there. But I'm sure this is the one that it blew my mind. So
this
guys, if
yeah,
you're
and it's
here,
such a simple exercise, right? It's just so simple. And if you are
and
somebody
that's why
that
I loved it.
Patrick's new mount tape for when you sleep works really, I have a one here. I don't know if that's the one you have, Justin, but that's the one from I can't find it right now. Um, anyways, we can do this exercise because we have I think 6 minutes.
Yes.
If you are somebody who wakes up at night to drink some water because you feel like you have a dry mouth, if you wake up with your mouth dry or very thirsty,
Yes,
if
you said.
you if you wake up and you feel like you're just didn't rest enough, didn't sleep enough, no matter how many hours you got to sleep. So
There are a few messages
continue.
here. So
Yeah,
no, but sometimes I have a hard time breathing deep sometimes, and I feel I cannot breathe well, and it takes me a few minutes to try to get back to breathing normal and comfortable. That's from Yesti, and Aline said yes. I actually always breathe with the nose because I was taught once, but my husband not so. So I'm happy that I'm learning to teach him. Ha ha ha.
okay. So we're gonna have 5 minutes to learn that, to practice that together. And this is really simple. You're going to take a deep breath through both of your, close your mouth, take a deep breath through your nose. If you can't, just try. In and out through the nose, whatever you can get through the nose with your mouth shut. Now you're going to close one nostril and you're going to try to breathe through that nostril. Now you switch. Now you take another inhale through both. Inhale again and plug your nose after the inhale. And you're going to be moving your head up and down, holding your breath there. Move it up and down until you feel the need to take a deep breath again. Up and down until you feel the need to breathe again. Nice. Breathe in. That should already have cleared some of your nose.
Yes.
Did anybody try that? The goal is for you guys to be doing this 6 times. So you're gonna do again, take another few deep breaths. Normal
That's the
through
one,
nose.
best art, husband.
And then you're gonna do that all over again, in and out through nose. Inhale, exhale, hold, up and down, breathe normal again. You're gonna try this 6 times.
Aline is saying, yeah, that's great. I immediately felt like my nose cleared up when I learned this exercise. And to me, it was really like mind-blowing, especially before you go to sleep, but also after when I wake up. Sometimes I feel that one nostril is completely clogged. So I do this exercise and that's it. Before I even get out of bed, I'm already breathing completely normal through my nose. So that's like amazing.
Yes, it really does work, and it amazes me because everybody's like, "What kind of, what cool
yeah,
is this?"
it looks like magic. Really,
yeah.
And it's with our body. There is no like equipment, like nothing that you have to put around your nose to sleep with or anything like that. It's just like our body is so smart if we really like listen and learn all the wisdom that our body has to teach us. Really.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guys, thank you so much. Yes, that's one of the that's the one who saves me at night when my nose is clogged. That's Nayara.
Awesome. Yeah, it really works. And if you happen to have that issue, the more you try that, the more you can really tell that this works. And if you have somebody that has a hard time breathing through their nose before they go to sleep and they snore a lot, or they just can't seem to breathe through their nose, try that. Have them trying it before you go to sleep. And then it's probably not going to work at the first time at night while they're sleeping. But the more you practice that, the better your nose will start functioning when you go to sleep. And it really works.
If you learned something today, please make sure to drop a line to Perla and her Instagram. Share your experience on your stories. Tag Become Odara. Tag This is Perla. And also, like, Perla does consultations. So if you are interested in learning more, she does online practice as well. So no matter where you are in the world, please contact her. Hi, Cidinha. Hi, Aline. We're at the end of the live now. But thanks, girls. It was awesome. I'm ready to sleep now. Oh, yeah. It's a completely different time zone there. But thank you
so much, guys.
Yeah,
I see a lot of people responding here. Justin, Robin, Nachi, Ryan, Cijina.
Thank you, everybody. We have only like 2 minutes left. So thank you very much. Perla, again, a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge. I hope people get to learn how to breathe better so they can live better. And always a pleasure to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you guys for watching.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.